everybody. The topic that I've chosen for today's discussion is slot machine, as I work with one of the world's biggest slot machine manufacturers. Slot machines are known by different names all across the world. It is informally known as fruit machines in Britain. It is known as slots in Canada. It is also known as poker machine or pokies in Australia. Whatever the name may be, a slot machine is simply a gambling machine that has 3 to 5 reels which spin on when a button is pressed. It is also called as a one-armed bandit because of the fact that it has a lever on one of its side and because of its ability to render the gamer penniless. So a slot machine has a currency validator that validates the money inserted into the machine, and the gamer is paid off based on the winning combination that he sees on the front of the game. Modern technology has resulted in advancement in the slot machine concept. It is the most commonly played game in the casino and results or constitutes to about 70% of the US casino income. Today, I will be covering around 3 important topics on slot machines. The first one being reels, second, random number generators, and third, the theoretical payout percentage. Getting started with reels. Until recently, revolving mechanical reels were used for slots. Although it started off with 5 reels, simpler and more reliable 3 reels quickly became the standard. The problem with 3 reels is that the number of possible outcomes is only cubic. Now, this largely limits the operator's ability to pay higher jackpots because with 3 reels and 10 symbols, you get about 10 raised to 3, that is 1,000 possible outcomes. And even the rarest event has the possibility of 0.1%. With a 100% return to player, the operator could pay 1,000 times the bet, and that would leave no room for other pays, and hence making the machine very high risk and also very boring. Although the number of symbols were eventually increased to 22, it still limited the size of the jackpot and also the number of possible outcomes, which was 10,000. In 1980s, the casino industry incorporated electronics into their products such that they could weight certain symbols. Now, the odds of the losing symbols appearing on the pay line became disproportionate to the actual frequency of the numbers of the symbols. This would mean that a symbol could appear to the player only once, but could have or occupy number of slots in the reel, on the multiple reel. In 1984, Inge Telnis received a patent for a device titled Electronic Gaming Device using random number generators for selecting reel stops. Now, these which stated that it is very important to make a machine that is perceived to present a greater chance of payout within the limitations of legal limitations within which a game of chance must operate. This was then bought by International Game Technology, or ITT as we know today, and has since expired. A virtual reel with 256 virtual stops gives you about 256 raised to 3, that is 16,777,216 final outcomes. This gives the operator ability to pay up to $1 million jackpot from a $1 bet, confident that it would occur only once in 16.7 million cases. Now, quickly moving to random number generators. All slot machines are designed with PRNGs or pseudo-random number generators which generate random numbers at the rate of hundreds or perhaps thousands per second. Every time you hit the play button, the most recent random number is used to determine the result. This means that each and every result is based off of when the button is pressed. A second earlier or later would give a different outcome. It is very important to have a high quality implementation of a random number generator because each PRNG is eventually bound to repeat itself in the sequence, and if the code is flawed or the period is short, an advanced player may be able to predict the next result if he has access to the code and seed values. Donald Harris, a former slot programmer, devised certain equations for games like Keno, wherein which allowed him to predict the next set of results based on the previous outcomes. Now, every slot machine is designed to defeat these equations by generating random numbers, even when the game is not played. So, a player cannot tell where in the sequence he is, even if he knows how the game was programmed. Now, quickly moving to the last chunk of our presentation, that is theoretical payout percentage. Every game is designed to pay out between 82 to 98% of the money wagered in the game. This is known as theoretical payout percentage, or RTP, that is return to player. Every jurisdiction differs largely between their payout percentage, and that is typically established by law or regulation. For example, Nevada pays out 75%, RTP for New Jersey is 83%, and RTP for Mississippi is 80%. The winning combinations, the payouts for each of these combinations, and the probability or frequency of these payouts is determined very carefully, such that a certain amount or a certain fraction of this payout goes to the house, that is the operator. Suppose you have a slot that costs you $1 and has a 95% payout. It can be calculated that over a sufficiently large amount of time, around 1 million plays, the machine can average out or give the player $950,000. Now the machine is said to have paid out 95%, and the rest of the $50,000 goes to the house. This is simply termed as par by some of the slot machine manufacturers. Par is perceived by certain gamblers as a promotional technique. Our loose slots pay 93%. Come play now might be the words they use, but it might be worthy to note that these loose slots may be very few anonymous machines in a very certain bank, and the probability of you hitting those machines and winning on those machines might be very low. So today I have covered 3 important topics related to slot machines, which are wheels that spin when you hit a button. Second, the random number generators, which determine the result of each spin. And thirdly, the payout percentage that determines how much is paid to each patron when he hits a winning combination. So in conclusion, I would like to mention that slot machine industry is a very exciting industry to be a part of, and I invite all of you to come